Hi, welcome to season 2 of Julie's Unknown. I'm actually really excited to start season 2. I finally felt called to come on here and start talking again. So there is going to be a few goodies this season, some episodes that I'm excited to talk to you about. Anything, there's going to be some astrology stuff, there's going to be human design. There is also going to be inner child healing, and I am going to be using different examples of how inner child healing has showed up in my life and in my client's life. How taking something tangible that makes sense to heal and release it, anything from like addiction to recognizing patterns and breaking patterns. So there's going to be a lot of those kind of topics coming up this season. But today it's going to be a nice short and sweet one because I just wanted to welcome you. So right now this will be launched in mid-March, and we're just about to enter Aries season. So we just finished, the astrological year with Pisces. Pisces season, you may have found a lot of chapters closing, a lot of letting go of old, and been dreaming about what does it look like to bring in the new? What do I desire? And that is what Pisces season brings. Also, if you've noticed it, having a lot of dreams during Pisces season, that's like absolutely normal. Sometimes dreams it's basically our subconscious talking to us and in various weird ways. But I'm not a dream analysis, but the thing is that like there could be like certain things that pop up in your dreams, especially if the dreams are repetitive. Like get curious about it, of what it is that your dreams and your subconscious is trying to tell you. So that was Pisces season, and now we have entered into the new astrological year. So if you felt that, the new year in January, it did not feel like a new year, did not feel like you were entering into something new, it could be that maybe this might feel a little bit more refreshing, especially with spring coming. And I feel like when spring comes, it's like it feels new, everything feels fresh. There are many new year points, like you have like the calendar new year on January 1st, and then there is a Chinese new year, there's a human design new year, and now we are at the astrological new year. So each one is going to affect everybody differently, and sometimes like one may not necessarily feel like an actual new year, and know that that is okay. So even if you're listening to this and we hit Aries season and you're thinking, you know what? No, I don't feel like this is a new year. I feel like I'm still releasing, and allow yourself to release, allow yourself to let go. But for those of you that are ready to tap into this new Aries new year, Aries is the first astrological sign. It is all fiery, it's fun, it's playful. So you may feel your energy kind of tapping into that, going outside, having fun, doing things that you love to do, just feeling good, like feeling a little bit more lightness. And that is what this season is going to bring. But also at the same time, there's going to be a lot of shifts and things for you to recognize. So in Aries season, we're going to see like two major things coming up. Well, one is the start of eclipse season. So eclipse season, don't be don't be too afraid of a eclipse season, but eclipses, especially when it's in a new moon or in a full moon, what they are here to show us is they amplify the energy. So it is amplifying the energy of what it is. And sometimes the amplification can be a very positive thing, a very forward momentum, depending on where you're at in your journey and your chart and what you're experiencing. And then other times eclipse season brings up the things that we need to look at, to let go, to heal, to move forward. So it is going to start. So eclipse season is the time that we can, jump timelines, jump, like to, forward like much quicker, because the energy is that. So there will be a full moon in March, in eclipse full moon in the Libra. Libra is all about balance, but also Libra talks about love and relationships. So there might be a lot of those kind of themes coming up, but also depending on where the full moon is transiting in your chart. And I think that that is going to be key for you to get curious about. I will be doing an episode, I think it might be the next one, that will be on the 12 houses. So then that way you'll be able to read your birth chart a little bit easier and understand what I'm talking about when you think, okay, like where does like, where's the full moon transiting? And you'll see themes of like not only that astrological sign, but themes in that specific astrological house that the full moon is transiting under in the eclipse. So there might be themes. So like, let's say it is love and relationships as an example, then it might show you, areas where are you loving yourself? Like, or how are you with your partner? If you do have a partner, or if you're single, like more focusing on yourself. Um, and it can amplify things to look at, whether it is within yourself or in the relationship, but then also an eclipse can also be a, propelling forward movement in a positive way as well. So like maybe taking that next step in that relationship, or that next step in, your single life, whatever that is. So that is basically up to you in your journey of where you are at, and just getting curious of what you are being shown prior to the full moon and after the full moon and the day of the full moon as well. And I believe the full moon is going to be, I just going to get the exact date for you, March 25th. So it'll be towards the end of the month. And coincidentally around that time, we're going to have Mercury in shadow period going into retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde on April 1st, for it's usually 2 weeks. So we will be seeing couple of weeks. Yeah, April 1st to April 24th is Mercury retrograde, and it will be retrograding over the sign of Aries. Mercury retrograde is all about communication and also technology. So every time Mercury goes into retrograde, we find that certain things stop working. Our phone goes haywire, the internet keeps crashing. If we wanted to like upload or download things, they're not working as quick enough, or there's like, we're having issues, anything technological issues, sometimes like your phone can break, all these kind of things can happen. But it is also communication. So, learning about how to communicate with yourself, how do you communicate with others? There is sometimes tends to be a high five. So during Mercury retrograde, it is very important to kind of make sure to pause and listen to what people are saying, especially like being in the sign of Aries, it is going to be very fiery. So it could be reactive. It could be very much like mishearing something and then reacting to what you thought you heard. So how many times, for example, you found yourself like you get a text, you read the text, the first sentence or even the second sentence, triggers you a reaction. You're upset. You're like, how this person could have said this, like, this is not okay. But then even though you read the whole thing, you didn't really read the whole thing, because what happens is when we react and we get triggered, we stop listening, hearing, seeing properly. Our senses kind of go haywire. So in those moments, instead of reacting in the moment to that person, or whether it is in conversation or via text message or phone call, to simply like begin to notice your reaction. So that's where you want to start. You want to start noticing when you do react. And then after that, you can take that step back, not answer right away, walk away from the situation, go for a walk, and then come back. And this is where you can come back, reread the text, see what it is actually saying, or ask for clarification, ask to maybe phrase it a different way, because sometimes the way we communicate, the way we say something may not always be the right way it gets perceived. And so this is where you can pay attention to that form of communication, but then also the other form of communication of you communicating with everybody else. So how are you explaining things? How are you articulating certain things? And so this is what Mercury retrograde is going to bring us, and it always brings us, and depending on which sign is transiting, again, which house it is in, then that is going to be what the themes around it. So when I go through the 12 houses in the following episode, you're going to be able to plug in both the Mercury retrograde and the full moon in Libra and see where is it in your chart that, what kind of themes are you going to see, around, for example, if it's in the second house is around money and materialistic things. So maybe there might be some themes of like communication when it comes to money and how do you communicate that, or maybe certain technological glitches around that, or certain materialistic objects like, the things to, kind of look at that, are relating to communication. So that is basically a few of the themes that we're going to see now in Aries season. And so, yeah, we did come through a period of no retrogrades. So the energy, like as it was, calm in some ways. Obviously, there were other things happening in the solar system that could have, brought up some things for you. But in terms of astrological, it was calm. There was no retrogrades, just your standard of new moon and full moons. And so now that we are hitting, spring season and summer is usually eclipse season, it's retrograde season. It's, a lot of things pop up, but it is also forward momentum and very fast pace, especially Aries season. So Aries season, so even if it doesn't pick up within the first week for you, know that it can possibly pick up in the second week of Aries season. So that is basically episode 1. Hope you enjoy this. I can be it short and sweet. And you can find me on my website at juliesunknown.com. I also have Instagram, Julie's Unknown. I am going to also be launching some meditations here on YouTube and Insight Timer. So feel free to go, subscribe to my YouTube channel or also subscribe to my podcast channel. I would really appreciate it. Every like, follow helps me so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will speak to you next time.